Moran, and welcome to Clause 10, Improvement, ISO 9001, 2015. And you can reach me at jim@simplifyiso.com. We have a website, simplifyiso.com, and you're welcome to visit there. You can contact us there as well. Clause 10, entitled Improvement, is actually a gold mine for every organization. By making processes better, we find that we can be more profitable, or if you're in the public sector, it gives you better opportunity to stay within your budget. So there are three things of interest in the improvement area. First of all, the word improvement, or the whole improvement section, is aimed at meeting customer requirements to enhance satisfaction. The second thing to keep in mind is that preventive action from the last 4 versions of the standard has been removed. The third thing to keep in mind for this clause is that there are now more sources of information identified for looking for ways to improve the effectiveness of your management system. When we look at improvement in clause 10.1, we see the typical general statement about finding ways to improve the effectiveness of your management system. And keep in mind that by making the system better, as we just said, you'll be more profitable. The challenge is taking a close enough look at the system to decide what makes sense to change, and then trying to figure out if the change actually did improve things. That's why the last section, section 9, measurements and analysis, is so critical to determine what are the best things you could do for your company to make things better. And don't forget, we're talking about making things better from the perspective of the people who use your system. Maybe not necessarily better in the eyes of top management, maybe not better in the eyes of a consultant, but definitely better in the eyes of the people who are actually doing the work in your organization and producing the results that are going to make your customers happy and keep you profitable. So this is achieved by producing results that make your customers happy. It's achieved by avoiding problems, and it's also achieved by thinking about the future state so that you'll be able to help your clients as their businesses change. This is one critical reason why you need to be in contact with your customer as much as possible, not only to find out how well they think you're doing, but try to find out what direction they're headed so you can be there when they get there. And by improving the performance and effectiveness of your management system, you'll be making employees happier as well. This, in turn, can lead to you being in the enviable position of having people coming to you looking for work rather than you having to go out and find people to fill vacancies. In fact, with the kind of improvement activity we're talking about here, you may not have that many vacancies. I'll just mention another thing that you may notice in your organization. You may have noticed it yourself in organizations that you've worked in. When you look at your organization as an employee, you want to see that things are getting a little bit better. If your organization is on a flat line of maintaining things status quo, that's okay because there are no surprises, no lower risks, and so on. But to the employees, sometimes if things aren't getting better, it might seem to them, or it might appear to them, that things are actually getting worse. So it's important that when you make improvements, you find a way to broadcast them all over the organization and make sure everybody's aware of the things that are getting better. In fact, I've often said in training classes, it's better to do 100 things better by 1% than one thing better by 100%. Actually, probably a mix would be optimal. So keep in mind that people want to know that they're working for a company that's getting better and better all the time. And that's what improvement is all about. The next section about improvement, 10.2, talks about nonconformance and corrective action. However you've been handling nonconformances and corrective action up to now will do fine, but I would like to suggest you consider one thing. Previously, you were required to identify the nonconformance, contain it so it doesn't do any more damage, do a cause analysis, recommend and implement control so it doesn't recur. And then finally check after the control has been in place for a while to see if it actually has stopped the problem from happening. What I would like to recommend that you think about now, once all that's finished, take a look at the nonconformance and see if better risk management activities may have put you in a position where you could have anticipated the error that happened or the thing that went wrong. That would be ideal. So you can use nonconformances. Once again, they're nuggets of gold. You can use these nuggets of gold to actually improve your risk activities, your risk and opportunity management activities. Finally, in this particular standard, you'll notice it's quite a surprise. It was quite a surprise for everybody. The requirement for preventive action has been removed. I must admit, in the 25 years that I've been working with this standard, it was always hard to find good examples of preventive action. So the committee that releases this document, TC 176, actually decided that in fact the entire management system is a preventive action tool. So it's not necessary to have a specific separate activity called preventive action. Some people back in the 90s mistook the activity that we call put controls in place to prevent recurrence. Some people called that preventive action. It's not preventive action. Preventive action are activities that you do, things that you carry out, programs that you put in place to prevent occurrence. Corrective action prevents recurrence of conditions that resulted in something you weren't looking for, or a surprise, an unintended result. Preventive action was designed originally to prevent those things from happening in the first place. So when you think about it, that's what your entire management system is here to do. So whatever you did before for corrective action and correcting issues, doing cause analysis, and so on, should work just fine. Just think about adding a loop back piece where you take the corrective action that you did, take the whole scenario, and take a look at the risk activities related to that situation and see if perhaps you might have been able to avoid that occurrence altogether. The last section of the standard, the last clause, continual improvement. And as I mentioned in the beginning, this standard has identified a few more areas that you might look for ideas to help you determine how to achieve continual improvement. So the standard actually has you looking at results of evaluation and analysis, has you looking at management review. You should take a look at customer feedback. You should take a look at your audits to determine ways to continue to improve. And that would include internal and external audits and any metrics. We talked about measurements in clause 9, measurements and evaluation. So make sure that you're taking measurements that are going to give you information about your capability, about processes, about system, and of course about customer feedback. And don't forget, when you're thinking customers, that you're thinking internal customers as well as external customers. Thanks very much for taking a look. I'm Jim Moran, Jim at simplifyiso.com. Be sure to visit our website. You'll see a tab there called ISO Tips, whole bunch of free stuff in there. There are some downloads there as well. And good luck on your transition journey. And by the way, there's another training tab here as well. And these videos are located here. So make sure that you drop us a note if there's anything else you need. Keep an eye on the site. If you like, send us a note. We'll put you on our mailing list for the newsletter. Thanks very much. Bye for now, and good luck on your transition journey.